Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me today is somebody who is a talented voice actor in the game. If you're a Marvel Rivals fan, you're going to love this episode. And joining me is the voice actor himself, Mr. Eliah Mountjoy. How are you doing today, sir?
Thank you so much, Benjamin. It's a real pleasure to be here. I know a bunch of my friends have been on, and so it's an honor for me to be here with you now.
Hey, I appreciate you wanting to be here, man. I appreciate you, responding to me when I slid in the DMs, because I always say when you slide in the DMs, it's either yes, no, or they leave you on red. So I appreciate that,
man. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, for sure.
So before we do this interview, like I tell everybody all the time, make sure you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And let's go ahead and roll into today's episode. So the first question that I always ask everybody up here is, what is your origin story? Tell everybody who you are.
My origin story. Boy, I came out really like kind of empathetic, like when my mother had morning sickness with my brothers, and she was throwing up, I would be throwing up with her, and that's just how I was, I guess. And if I was in the back of the car seat and an ambulance went by, I would be going ooh. I would mimic that. So I think right from the get-go, I was influenced by emotions and sounds and images, and I was compelled to make them myself. So, flash forward to, I was influenced by movies and by art and by music. Music primarily, probably. Music was the earliest art form, and sculpture and and painting and expression. And I grew up in a very sports family. Sports. Sports are great, but my heart was always with the arts. So I had a late start, meaning I wasn't in high school even when I was really kind of pursuing the arts. Me and my friends, we would like create games. We call it, we'd give each other adventures, or like action role playing games. Okay, you're a Navy SEAL and you're about to go AWOL, and here's a time reversal cube, and you're going to go through this portal, and you come into this, and we'd take each other through this these adventures. So we were endlessly creative, and then we'd put them on tape, and we'd make little movies, and we'd make music, we'd make comic books. So I was clearly a creative kid, because I was not great academically. I was not doing well in school. My brain was working a different way, So by the time I had kind of graduated both high school and college, then I was like, oh, now I'm free to actually kind of really pursue what my interests are, and that was the arts. So I got into theater. I got into a conservatory school in the Bay Area, and moved to San Francisco and lived there for about 5 years. And just studied, and then started doing regional plays, regional theater. And had a great time. We did a lot of Shakespeare, we did a lot of classics, Chekhov, even Mamet and Tennessee Williams. We did a lot of kind of the classic and contemporary stuff. Then I was like, if I'm going to be serious about this, I got to go to Los Angeles. I'm going to have to migrate south of the birds and be serious. So I migrated south, and right when I got here, my friends were like, hey, our other friend that we all grew up with playing those games that we went Navy AWOL Navy SEALs with, he also lived here. And he's like, oh, no way. So we all got back together, and we reformed the band that we had as we were kids. So that took a big chunk of time. And then somebody was like, hey, you should get into voiceover. And I think it must have been after we had a show or something, because my voice must have been like real, like, roughed up and raspy like this or something like that. Because I was like, because then the belief was, oh, it's about, do you have that radio voice, as opposed to, do you have the chops to just be, to live a character, to live an experience. That's really what it's about. But at the time, I was like, I guess so. So I kind of went to a few meetings, and I remember walking into some room, and there was a guy with like a cigar. It was like, hey kid, what do you got? What are you about? You got a reel for me to see? And I was like, I don't think this is for me. Looking back now, because the voiceover world is a very small community. Everybody kind of knows each other. I don't even know who that guy was. Probably a true snake oil shyster.
Right, like an 80s movie villain, something like that.
Yes, yeah, and I'm lucky that I didn't get all swept up in that I kind of was like, but that sort of took me a little bit further to come back around to specifically voiceover, because I love on-camera acting, I love motion capture, performance capture acting, I love music, I love painting. I'm no good as a dancer, but I love it. It's fun to express yourself. So, just eventually I was like, okay, I got all this microphone and equipment stuff from the band. I've got all this background in theater. I was living in Los Angeles, going for on-camera auditions and things like that. And I still do all this. I still do music. I still do on-camera. I still do performance capture. I still do. But, I stayed in the game long enough to where finally one of the things pops off. And you just realize, well, you just got lucky. You just got lucky because I have so many friends who are so talented that just haven't gotten the same kind of time in the sun, shall we say, just because whatever the game just didn't do as well, as it wasn't as popular with as many people at any one given time. So you just take it, one step at a time, and you realize one of my mentors, the great Bob Bergen, was like, you don't let the failures go to your heart and the successes go to your head. Just keep moving forward.
That was a nice origin story, man. And there's so much that I want to piggyback off of like things that you were saying. And the first thing is the last thing that you said about knowing so many talented people, but they haven't gotten their moment in the sun. I understand that because, I see that all the time with, people that I know where, I've been a guest at cons for cosplay. And I have always been the type of person that says that everybody deserves the opportunity, because I know so many talented cosplayers and they never get opportunities. So because I have my foot in the door in cons and whatnot, like I'll recommend people all the time, like, hey, this person should be a cosplay guest. This person should be a cosplay guest. And, everybody's always so grateful to me for helping them out and getting their foot in the door. And I'm just like, bro, if somebody didn't do it for me, then I wouldn't be able to do it for you. So, I think that everybody eventually they do get their moment in the sun, but it's like you said, it all starts with luck. It starts with getting that opportunity and then knocking it out of the park. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, you looking at your career and looking at everything that you've done in it and seeing where you are now, as a professional wrestler myself, and seeing that you did voiceover work in the WWE video games, I think that that's really awesome, man. So a pinky's up to you for the career that you've had so far. And also I think it's a very humble experience, just saying that. It's just like, hey, it's like, you're good, and I know that you're going to get your moment one day. Don't give up. Keep on going. So pinky's up to that, man.
I love that expression. I'm taking that from you.
Hey, go ahead.
I love that.
I'm part of the Golden Pinky Society. Like I always say, when in doubt, pinky's up. You know what I'm saying? Something else that I wanted to piggyback off of is the adventures that you were having with your friends. When I was a kid, I used to tell a lot of stories, and my mom, she had bought me a tape recorder because she was just like, you're always talking, you're always telling these stories, and like you have the gift of gab. And I still have that tape recorder too, but it's one of the reasons why, like, I do stuff like this. I interview people at cons because I just love talking to people. I love hearing people's stories. And I love seeing where somebody started at and where they are now. So, that's why I give everybody their flowers, man, because everybody deserves them, man.
That's really cool you say that, because and it's really cool that your mom kind of had your back in that way and encouraged that, and like, here, take this little tape recorder and do something with your talents that I see in you, that I acknowledge in you. That's huge. Just having anybody believe in you, let alone your mom, that's really powerful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. I remember we would make little cassette recordings, excuse me, on play record at the same time. Mm-hmm. And we would play music, in the open air, and we would create these little radio shows. And it was, I think the name of it was, my brothers would remember this because they were part of it, but it was Detective Morton Harkett and the Case of the Revealing Tracks. And then we'd have some music come in, and it was another day like any other. The rain was pouring down, and the glistening streets beckoned my name as I walked into my old, and we would just tell a story. We'd just tell a story and realize, oh, if we do it this way, the quality of the story is more accessible, or it's more pungent, or it lands more, And so then we started discovering, there's better and worse ways to tell a story. Oh, okay. But story, that this vehicle of story is the fiber and the threads that connects us all together. And because we all identify with an element or a character or a situation in that story. And so these stories bind us together, and you see how powerful stories are. And the power behind becoming a better storyteller is what will make you a better entertainer, a better individual who can model or lead an individual or a group of people. And it will also be something that you have to hold yourself accountable to a higher standard, because you know that there's always going to be the next step. There's always going to be the next level. You got to become better. There's never like, wow, that was nice, I made it, I don't have to work out anymore. Right. I went to the gym once this week, I'm good. I went to the gym for the year. It's like, it's a ongoing, just like diet, just like sleep, these like elemental things that we have to do. So it's funny, it's just, story is the kernel for me. Story, it's always story.
So, I got a story that, I would love for you to, share with me and share with everybody that's watching right now. But what can you tell me about buds?
I love that you brought that up. So, okay, you've been watching the streams?
So look, I just finished interviewing Daniel.
Oh, you actually interviewed him. Yes, that's right.
He said to me, he said, ask him about buds.
Okay, man. I'm really glad you brought this up, actually. Here's why. Okay, first let me tell you what it's about. So Daniel Marin, my best buddy now, which is a true miracle in and of itself, because he and I are both in Marvel Rivals, and we're also both in Call of Duty, and it's really rare that you make a best friend out of a colleague, basically, But once we found out that as we were getting to know each other, we were both in Call of Duty. We both play Call of Duty. I play with my brothers. We grew up playing video games together. We're like, oh, dude, we got to play. We're both in it. We got to do it. In fact, tonight we'll probably be running it. I just got a text from my boy Nick Apostolides. Shout out to Nick for just coming out with Resident Evil 9. Recounting his role as Leon Kennedy.
Yes.
Popping off. Congrats to him, man. He's living the life right now, dude. He's worked so hard. I've known him for more than 10 years. I've seen him just put in the time, put in the work. We were saying it's about luck. It's also about making yourself ready to capitalize on that luck when it strikes. And he's doing it right now. So, but he's part of the turkey squad too. The turkey squad is when it's a bowling term. When you win 3 games in a row, it's called a turkey. Like in hockey or whatever, it's a hat trick. And so Daniel had already created a clan name for himself in Call of Duty. It was called Butts, all caps, Butts. It's amazing because we're like, oh, dude, that's a great clan. We'll all just join it. So we're all Butts, and we're playing his playable character Gus, and one of the skins is a cat with like mice hanging from its waist or whatever. I've got 3 cats. I love cats. We're like, this is perfect. It's lining up. Okay, we're the Pussy Patrol. We're hunting turkeys, and the clan is Butts. So every time we're playing, and it gets heated, and you're locking in, all I can see up in the corner when you first see the name is the clan name, then the name. So everybody's Butts, especially Daniel. And what I love about this, this ties back into what we were just saying at the beginning, how I always was saying something. It's part of my origin story. There's certain words associated with certain people. My brothers will attest to this because they've gotten endless nicknames over the course of our lifetime. But there was no better nickname for Daniel than Butts. And so every time I would call him, it'd be like, Butts, Butts, Butts. And I had to phonetically do it to where it resonated in this particular way. So it eventually became, when we were introducing him to new people, it's like, hey, this is Butts. I just introduce him as Butts. Or in our streams or whatever, like people call him Butts, or they'll log on. It will just be BUTTSSSSSS Butts. It's just so much fun, man, and it comes back to this beginning part of the origin story where I just like saying words. I like creating stories and elements, and Butts is kind of a vestige from that arm.
I love that, man. It's like I couldn't control my laughter just hearing the origin story of Butts. And he didn't share this in his interview. He just told me, he said, you make sure that you ask him about that. Let him tell the story of it. But what's also cool, and again, we keep going back to the start of this interview and, talking about luck and, being at the right places at the right time. So we actually interviewed Nick Apostolides when we started the podcast, and it was the Resident Evil 2 remake had just came out, and I slid in his DMs, and he was just like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to come on." And he's an incredible guy, and everybody that's watching this, back then we weren't doing videos, but you can look up the interview. It is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and he's an amazing dude. He does so much charity work. He helps so many people and whatnot. And that's awesome that you guys play with him and he's a part of y'all's team.
Yeah, man, he's great. And, he not only does the voice, he does the performance capture for Leon too, which means it's the full performance. Right. And and when you're able to do something like that, it's really such a treat because it's the ultimate expression of that storytelling or playing a character. It's your whole being, it's your voice, it's your face. So I'm so pumped for him. They just did this collaboration with Porsche. Yeah. Dude, he's just on fire. It's just awesome. We're so happy for him. When we went to the Game Awards, they put up the big trailer that when it was coming out, and I'm sitting there with Alpha, Daniel, Jordan, our squad. That comes on. Nick's our boy, and it's clearly Nick's voice. We're like, yo, we're like, yeah, and so then like the next whatever it was, next couple of nights later, we were on the stream, and Nick jumps on, gets on the Discord. It's like, dude, we are so excited for you. And Dan's like, dude, what can you tell us about it? But he wasn't able to talk about it. Right. So so he was like, I'm getting a message. Hold on. And we're like, no, dude, tell us about this thing. He's like, no, I got it. And meanwhile, he's texting me like, dude, I can't talk about it. So, we had to apologize. He'd be like, oh, dude, sorry. We thought that because we saw that, but he was like, no, he wanted to play the safe side, which is smart, which is the smart way to play it. Right. And we know the deal, and still we were like, trying to burst his bubble. So, but we were just so pumped for him to be able to do this. I've just seen a little bit of gameplay, and dude, it's probably too scary for me to play. It's too much. Bro,
man, I done posted videos in my stories, and the monster had came from the ceiling, and I freaked out. I tried to turn to the right. The monster snatched me, and then I paused the game. and
Yeah.
you know, I was just telling Daniel this, and I tell all my other friends that I really need to, you know, hop on Twitch and start streaming, because my reactions, they're priceless, and it's because I'm a wrestler, and you know, you sell with your face. And that was one of the cool things that I loved about, you know, watching wrestling growing up was, you know, my tag partner explains it like this. Everybody has if you pour a bag of Skittles on the table, everybody has their favorite Skittle, right? And that's how wrestling is. It's just like there's people that like hardcore, there's people that like technical, there's people that just love the story aspect of it. And that was me growing up. Like, I just loved, like, The Rock, Macho Man Randy Savage, you know, just the over-the-top selling, facial expressions, promos. And that's one thing that I love. So since I'm talking about wrestling, I want to take it to you being in the WWE video games. So I want to know, are you a wrestling fan? And what was it like being in those video games?
I mean, I grew up with, Roddy Rod Piper and Hulk Hogan and like the classic, and just being mesmerized by their physical prowess. And then, you know, when the movie came out, The Wrestler, with Mickey Rourke, and then it kind of opened up and be like, look, yes, a lot of this is staged, but these dudes are doing unbelievable things to their bodies, with their bodies, against each other, and that is very real. So, you know, I loved that movie for kind of revealing how real that is, how real that sport is. But it's the same thing. It's just they're creating a story. You know, what's this person's origin story, and where'd this one come from, and this is why the head off is such a big deal, you know. So by the time I got to play Gabriel Slade, which is the character I played in the wrestling, I wanted to go into it with that intention, because they were the game developers, 2K. They were describing what this character was, and he ultimately was not a great guy, you know. It's just like any industry that's competitive, you're going to have snakes, right? And everyone's going to try and do whatever they can to get ahead, and that's Gabriel Slade. But at the beginning, he was talking to the player character, being like, "Hey man, hey yo, you know, I just want to meet you on your level. Look, man, I can help you. I can help you get to the next stage. I can help you become what you're supposed to be." And you know, then kind of, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but manipulates things to his advantage, and depending on how you choose it, you know. I love that. I love playing those characters because that character, just like every other character, doesn't believe they're like doing the bad thing. They think they're doing the right thing in the way that they see fit. And so having to play, you just have to play it real. You have to play it genuine. And for that, I did have to wear the head cam, the HMC, the head mounted camera unit, and so they could take my facial performance and translate that, and that's always fun. You know, I had to shave the beard and get my baby Spanx on, and then there's it's got big long speeches. You know, in voiceover, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you just get the line that you're hearing. That actor just saw those words, just saw that script. Not every time, but like 95% of the time, because I got to keep it under wraps. So when you walk into the studio, you don't even know what you're doing. They'll be like, okay, you're unless you're coming back and there's more sessions, but you won't have seen the script, and they'll be like, here it is, you know. So if you got, you know, a couple lines, all right, you can get through that. But if you got these long monologues, which is what he has, you'll be like, okay. And that's when having spent the time and the energy to be able to focus and be able to kind of sort of sight read like that really comes into play, because you're also getting the face, you're capturing the face, and you want the reactions of like, am I disappointed in him? Am I trying to sell him on something? Am I being optimistic? all that comes through in the performance. So you can't be thinking about anything else. You got to be totally locked in on that.
Nah, man, I totally understand that, man. And it's kind of like whenever I go out to the ring, I always say that I'm nervous before I go out. Like I have butterflies in my stomach, right? And then when I go out there, I knock it out of the park. And I always say that it's better to be nervous before doing something instead of not being nervous at all. Because I feel like when you're nervous, it's just like you're automatically thinking that it's just like, okay, I need to do my best, you know? So that's just always a mindset that I had. And you know, I think it's really cool that you got the opportunity to be in the WWE games, because they've been going on for years, especially, you know, like the 2K ones, but, you know, just dialing it back all the way to the 80s, you know, like on the NES and the Sega and all that stuff. So it's like to be a part of that franchise, like that's really cool, man. Thanks, man.
And yeah, I agree. It is a real pleasure to be a part of that, because it's such a cool art form and sport event at the same time. There was something you said that I wanted to talk about, but I lost it now, because what did you just say before then?
Butterflies and being nervous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice job bringing that back. You're good at this.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's if you don't have the butterflies, it's like, do you care about this? You know, if you got the butterflies, it means you're like, oh, I really want to do well at this. This means something to me. And because a lot of people will be like, you know, how do you get into voice acting? And you get that all the time. And you go, well, there's 100 ways. There's maybe 1,000. There's a lot of ways. The way that I got in is not going to be the way that, especially now, when I got in, it was different. The world is different. The industry is different. And, but it's like, but do you want to do it? It's weird. It's a weird thing. You know, everybody wants the notoriety. Oh, wow. I was in this WWE game. It's so awesome, but it's a lot of pressure. Having people sit there, either online like we are, or in the room through glass, looking at you like, don't mess this up. It's weird. And you're in this sterile environment in a studio with people waiting, looking at you. It's you know, you have to do it enough to get past that, to get to the point where you can then just live as this character in this strange, noise absent room. It's weird. It's not like you're on stage talking to it, engaging with props and costumes and other characters. You're alone. And you know, it's strange. It's like, do you want that? When I was really getting into it, I was like, oh, I didn't kind of really realize how isolated this art form is. You have to really want to live in your own head and your own dreams and your own thoughts. You have to be able to be comfortable with that, because you're gonna be alone a lot, auditioning, and even when you're on the job, you're kind of alone. Everyone's just out there looking at you.
Yeah.
And you have to have practiced and rehearsed it enough times to get past that weirdness, and then get to the and so when you're doing that, you're like, I'm kind of nervous. Well, good. Okay, then you want to do it, but if you're like, this ain't for me, you know, and you go, okay, great. And so for all the people that are like, how do you get in? How do you get in? We want to be like, well, first of all, do you want to do it? Because it's going to be a lot. It's not that it doesn't happen. Some people get in and they take off and everything comes together for them. 99% of us, it's just like any other competitive thing. You just got to keep at it and keep getting up and keep getting better and keep getting through the weirdness and keeping positive through the rejection, all the no's, no. You know, if you get one no, one yes out of 100 no's, you're doing great. And you know, when you hear those stats, you're like, geez, that's not a great. It's like, yeah, that's right. It's weird. It's not for everybody. If you can get that far and be like, okay, yeah, I think I like this, and go, okay, great. Then keep going. Then you just got to keep going. Keep taking classes, keep practicing on yourself, get little bands of people together, practice with them, have them read this, give them positive, constructive criticism, let them give that to you. Spend hour after hour after hour, day after day, week, month, every year, year after year after year, and keep going. It's like if you want to do that, then you know that you want to keep doing it. And then you can start being like, okay, where are you in your career? What is it that you want to do? Because it's too big of a piece to bite off. How do I get in? Make sure you want to do it first. Read a book. Read a book out loud. Record yourself on your phone or whatever, How's that going? How's that feel? It's weird. I pale back. That's not how I sound. I don't like the way I sound. Welcome to voice acting. None of us like the way we sound. You hear it back and you're like, oh God, don't tell me don't tell me that. And they're like, yeah, that's you. That's how you sound. Read it. Read the back of a cereal box. Read a bulletin board. Read it out loud. Read it. Read as a character. Read it as you. Ooh, can you do it as you? Oh, then you got to put your actual self. It's like a character work can be easier because you're like, oh, I can put on a character. See, and then if they don't like it, it's like, it's just a character. You don't like the character. But if you read it as yourself in your own voice, and then people critique it, it's a lot easier to take that personally. And then you have to find the conviction within yourself to be like, they're either trolls and haters, or I do have some work to do, or both. But the answer is almost always, you got more work to do. Wherever you are, you can always get better. You can always, there's always the next level where you can be a more pure, efficient vessel for telling the story.
Man, that was some seriously solid advice, and I love everything that you said. And there's two guests that I want to mention. The first one is Matthew David Rudd, and I'm not sure if he still does voice acting classes, but when I was doing his classes, that was one of the things that he told all of us, was that when you get in voice acting, don't do impersonations. Because if you're doing impersonations, then that's what people are always going to look at you as a person that can do impersonations. It's like, you want to use your real voice, because that's what the people behind the glass windows want to hear. They want to hear your real voice, because if they want to get somebody that sounds like the person that you're impersonating, they'll just get that person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So also, everybody that's watching, go check out that interview with Matthew David Rudd. Super cool dude. And he loves wrestling too. So go check that out. Nice. And the other guest is Ken Forey. And when we had him up here, we were talking about some of the, guests that we interviewed who were voice actors. And the best advice that he gave everybody listening was, and he's not a voice actor. He just does, on screen work. But he said, if you want to be a voice actor, read a book out loud, because you hear your voice. And you just said the same thing. So I love everything that you just said. And everybody, go check out Ken Forey's interview. It's up here on the channel. It's on podcasts and all that stuff on Spotify. And if you ever go to any horror cons, go check him out, because he's a super cool dude. And if you grew up watching Kenan and Kel, he was the dad on Kenan and Kel. So yeah, go and check that out. So now I want to get to Marvel Rivals, because we got a lot of people that's listening that love your work as Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. And I want to know, what was that experience like auditioning for the role? And then how was it like when you found out that you got the role?
Well, I don't believe that I knew who I was auditioning for at the very beginning. I think it was kind of secret. Mm-hmm. It was so, it didn't stand out. I wasn't like, I think it was another military guy. And I auditioned for a lot of military guys, So I was like, okay. But then they kind of had like a callback sort of, or the very early sessions. I think they were trying to work out and see, like, is this person going to work out for this game, for this role, this game? And when I came in, this is one of the very, very rare instances where you do get the script ahead of time. Bright Skull, who's the signatory in the studio that recorded for us, they do this courtesy to their actors. They give the script ahead of time. It's more work and effort for them, and it's also riskier for everybody. So it's not everybody does it. So it's a really special thing, and I really appreciate that they do it, because now you have the time to read the script beforehand and be like, who's the character? What choices am I going to make? It's not just right now. So by the time I got that, I was like, oh, the Winter Soldier. Okay. And then I got nervous, because I was like, oh, because I am a Bucky Barnes fan, from the 2015 Captain America. I think it was the Cold War when they introduced Bucky. I loved it, dude. It was so cool. He was so cool. Sebastian Stan's iteration of him, all black with the silver arm and the hair and the goggles and mask and the gun. I was like, dude, he's so cool. He is so cool. He was such a cool character that I was like, don't mess this one up, dude, But at the same time, I also knew I have a different vocal register than Sebastian Stan. A lot of the characters that they brought back to this are the legacy characters. Yuri Lowenthal is Spidey, Fred Tatasciore is Hulk, Steve Bloom is Logan. I mean, they've got a core, and it's like they're the voice. They've been the voices for 10, 15, 20 years in some cases. So, and they sound a lot like their on-camera versions. So even Josh Keaton, who plays Tony Stark, sounds a lot like RDJ. But I really appreciated the way that Josh Keaton approached this. And he's a fabulous actor, amazing performer, really genuine, kind guy. He's like, I wasn't trying to do a exact imprint or impersonation. I'm just trying to give the vibe,
right?
But at the same time, that vibe is kind of the RDJ vibe, because Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. is Iron. It's like Harrison Ford and Han Solo or whatever. So I knew that when I wasn't going to be able to do Sebastian Stan, excuse me, I was going to have to do me. I was going to have to just do my voice, and that whatever came out was what came out. So I gave him what I had, and what I had didn't sound like anything other than me. And so, but then they continued to bring me back. There was early recordings, and I feel like the early recordings they were kind of testing out, because it was kind of as we were emerging from the pandemic, maybe 22. I remember going into the 2022, having to be all masked up, and like everything was locked down still. It was like, ooh, can we go in? And there was all this compliance that you had to do, and so yeah. By the time I kind of was coming back more to do more recording, I was like, oh, cool. I mean, it would be a session that a long period of time would go by, and I'd be like, well, I don't know, maybe they don't want it anymore, or maybe that's all there was to the game. Lots of times you do 1 or 2, 3 sessions and that's it. Mm-hmm. But they would bring me back, and it wasn't until I had already done the again and all those big alts that the Marvel team on the line was like, hey man, the people are really liking your character when they're running the beta, the test beta. And they're really liking it. They're liking the armed and again, because they like being up with the lily pad and bam, bam. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't really understand the implications of that, but that was the first time I'd ever heard anybody go, oh, it's testing really well. Then when people started sending me memes of some kid in a cafeteria in some mall somewhere in America going, again, did I realize, oh, this is going to get kind of crazy. So it was probably at that point that I realized, oh, there's something more happening with this game than had previously happened with other games that I was in.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And, for you to go in early on and, wanting to do your voice instead of trying to be similar to Sebastian. Mm-hmm. It goes back to what we was just saying a while ago about like just using your voice. And now also I always do this, but I interviewed Josh Keaton at GalaxyCon Richmond, and super nice guy. This was a couple of years ago, It was like right after Across the Spider-Verse came out. And guys, that interview, it is up here on the channel. But it's crazy because I want to say it was the first time I had ever played, what was it? Marvel Midnight Suns. And he was Tony Stark in that game. And I didn't know he was voicing him. And I was just like, dang, like that, like, I would have thought that was Robert Downey Jr. You know what I'm saying? But It's like you said, he put his own spin on it to make it himself. It's just that it's just like it sounds like Robert Downey Jr. And then the same thing with you as Bucky Barnes, but instead it's like I don't see Sebastian Stan, I see you. You know what I'm saying? And then for you to now have this fan base, and I was telling this to Daniel, when you read something like when I read Batman comics, I hear Kevin Conroy's voice. But now, like, has anybody ever told you that, hey, when I read comics, I hear Eliah's voice?
Yeah, I have heard that, and I'm awesome. So honored. Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's really cool because, you never know what these things are going to be until they kind of become whatever they do become. And the fact that a lot of people have told me that when they read the comics, they hear Bucky Barnes talking more than anyone else. I think that's really cool, and I'm so honored to be a part of the Marvel universe, as an Avenger playing Bucky Barnes. I really owe that to the creative team, to NetEase, to Bright Skull, and to Marvel for letting me bring whatever it is I bring, not be like, could you be a little more, Sebastian's a little more like, he's a little more laid back. He's a little more like, he's not screaming so much,
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, of course now, like in the newer movies, he's more laid back, but back then, my man was letting loose, so I get it though. It's like, if that's what Marvel wants, then, that's what Marvel gives, right. Unfortunately.
Yeah, they let me do it. And it resonated with people, and so all those years and years and years of me practicing how to punch, how to take a punch. Actually, what does it feel when you get punched? What's it like when you get punched in the face?
Right.
Is that different from the stomach? And as a wrestler, like, you would know these things,
right?
Because even though you're not supposed, you make contact sometimes,
right?
What's it feel like when you get slammed on the ground? What happens when you get hit in the back versus the front? What sound do you make when you're on the ground versus in the air? They're different. And if you can translate those to a character, like when he's going up, it needs to sound like he's, because when they're like, okay, here's the line, here's the ultimate line. They're like, it's going to be his like super power. Here's the little animatic, like the low res rendering, and you could see him going, woo, and winding up. And I actually got to meet Dakota Masonette, who is the individual on the Marvel team who has made essentially all this happen. Nice. And he's the one who gave Winter Soldier the new ability where his arm can extend in these kind of tentacle Hydra things when he punches the ground. That was his idea, because they're like, the game mechanics, they need something. He needs something more, and they gave him this, which was so clever, so creative, so cool. But they're like, okay, now we need the sound to match that. And so all these years, me sitting in the back of the car, woo, creating sounds, spending a lifetime cultivating, accumulating, and aggregating noises and sounds, and what goes here, and what serves the story, what makes it sound like this guy is lifting off and he's about to rain down. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And when you're redlining your voice like that, again, you can't really do that too many times before you've kind of blown yourself out.
Right.
As a voice actor, you have to learn how to modulate that. I'm just like, as a wrestler, you can't just throw it all. You got the whole show you got to do. You got your body the whole show. You can't just blow it all in one load.
Right.
So you got to learn how to modulate that. But when it's time to go, man, it better be go time. When it's go time, or when you need to wrap up the show and you need to slam somebody over the head with a metal chair, let's see it.
Right,
you know?
right. Because it's so I'm in a tag team, and our tag team is called the Golden Pinky Society. And
Okay, pinky's up. I got it.
Pinky's up, right? And so it's like in the matches sometimes, like my tag partner, he's in there taking a beating. He's trying to get to the corner to tag me in. They're keeping him in the ring, and the fans, they want me to get in the ring. I'm sitting there angry. Come on, tag me. As soon as I get in that ring, the building lights up, and it's like you said, it's go time. Yeah. You know, it's like you don't just come in the ring. Like they don't want to see me come in the ring and start chaining and start wrestling the guys to the ground. They want to see me throwing people around, slamming people, because I've been on the apron all this time. So it's the same thing when it's time to hit Bucky's ultimate move. It's like you have to be animated with it, and I know when you're in that studio, it's just like you're animated. Your hands are going everywhere because that's the best way to record. It's like it's just using hand gestures, moving around, because it's like it like even right now, like I'm getting energized, and I'm feeling it because let me put my hand down. Right. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. It's like when you speak with your hands, you speak from your heart.
Right.
And you better believe I'm doing those punches when in the studio. I was like, and because it translates. The body is connected to the emotions and to the voice, and so when we're on stage and we're doing the alts, I wind it up too. Again, because it matters. It doesn't sound right if you're just kind of trying to two-dimensionally. There's something I think that resonates about, it's like, oh, he's popping off, because that was the other thing I wanted to bring to the character. I've done a considerable amount of training with dangerous people, ex-Navy SEALs and kung fu masters and people who were really dangerous people who could kill you with their hands. And and when you've trained with them, you're like, oh my, this person is way stronger than I am, and they have way more technique, and they could do me in right now if they wanted. And it's a really humbling feeling. But these dangerous people are super chill.
Right.
They're like, they know who they are. They know what they're capable of. They know what they're not capable of. They know their place in the world. So they're really chill. And so they have this voice that makes them very chill, which is the voice I wanted to choose for Bucky. He's a very chill person. He's a super soldier. But when it's time, they flip this switch and they go into this, and they go the red line, and that was the again, so they just got these two sides of him where he's the super cool guy, and then when it's time, he's activated. He's the Hydra, the assassin of assassins. He gets activated, and he becomes the Winter Soldier, the one everyone's like, if you know the Winter Soldier, you better turn around and get away, or he will kill you.
Right.
he earned that reputation by that ferocity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I got to ask you, when you're at conventions, because I've seen that you've cosplayed as Bucky, right. And I want to know, like, have you ever been at a convention at a Q&A and somebody started reading like the scene from Winter Soldier, Civil War? Have they ever started reading it to you?
I have had some people start shouting that out. Yeah. In fact, I think I have. Yeah, I keep this one here. So a lot of people will give me, these, I don't know if it's too bright to see, but these, these cool, like, friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
And they have, actually, this is not the one. Is it? No, it's not. There's another one. I have them everywhere. And it's just the first letter of each word in the activation sequence.
That's cool.
Yeah, but they I can't think of it off the top of my head. But when somebody starts saying them, it's like, stop! You don't want this. It's fun. It's a funny interaction.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's the one thing that I love about conventions, is because of those interactions. So I want to ask you now, before we get to the listener questions, there's two more questions, but I want to ask, do you have a fun convention story that you would love to share?
Oh man.
Like one of your favorite moments that you've had at a convention?
Oh, well, I mean, the definitely the coolest moment that we had was when, well, I've already told you the coolest part. The coolest part about this whole thing is that I've made some of my closest, best friends from this game. Daniel, Jordan, Alpha, Scott, Eric. We don't live as close to him, but we love Eric. And everyone that we meet is so cool. We just met Hakeem, who's with Hakeem and Xanthi, our Cloak and Dagger. Everyone's just so awesome, you know. But I have met some of my closest best friends from this, and that's something you can't even buy that. You can't even. It's something you get super, super lucky with. So this ties into the story. When we went to San Diego last year, essentially what happened was, the Fantastic Four movie that Marvel was going to spend a lot of time, energy, and money promoting got pushed off until later in the year. So that meant there was this big marketing cavity to be filled at San Diego Comic-Con. Rivals just happened to be doing well enough that they're like, let's just place that front and center. So we got man, it was crazy. It was a crazy 3 days. It was so crazy. We went from one event to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And even our manager and our promoter were like, man, they are running you hard. You guys, they are pushing you guys to the circuit. But we were so excited to do it all. And the coolest part was when we got up onto we got up to the main stage in the panel, and there was something like 2,200 people in the auditorium. That's insane. And it was totally sold out, and there was people backed up in there just surrounding it, and they were there to hear and listen to what we had to say. And at that moment, it's just a completely humbling moment where you're like, first of all, I'm just another person. I don't know if there's something I have to say that's worth your time and energy, but if there was something I had to say, and to be able to get up on a panel like that with your besties in this game that you got super lucky in, and hear your voice echoing off the back wall, especially when you're like, oh, again, and we all get to go down the line and say our ults. That was a really, really magic moment. And I'll always remember, and I'll always treasure that.
That's all. That was literally Avengers Endgame. Everybody coming out of the portals. Everybody just sitting there, just screaming their ultimate. Like that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, it was
Keep
really
doing
cool.
it in front of 2,200 people. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, that was really special.
So now my final question for you is, when you aren't behind the microphone and you're not playing video games with your friends, what are some of your hobbies that you're into?
Oh man, I still make music with my childhood friend. We still have a band. We still make music. We're working on a song right now. That takes a lot of time. Creating music from scratch is something that it always takes more time and energy than you think it's going to take. But I've found it to be there's fewer endeavors where I've artistic endeavors where I've just felt more fulfilled and happy. When we make a song, it's like, wow, we did it. We made a song. So I spend a lot of my free time doing that. But I grew up in Colorado, so I love the elements. I love nature. I love getting out on hikes. I love getting to the beach. I pay astronomical amounts of money to live in Los Angeles, and it's hard to get out and enjoy why everybody likes to live here, because it's so nice, Right. So I try to make a point to get out to the beach, or get out to a boardwalk, or get out to Griffith Park, or get out to with another place I like to go, Kenneth Hahn. There's really great hiking areas here in the city, and so I try to get out and experience the sun and just enjoy being in Southern California.
That's awesome, man. And I love that, that you and your friend, that y'all are still doing your music thing. And I don't want to move forward before asking you to let everybody know what is the name of the band. And, I'd be happy. When can everybody expect new music to come out?
Thanks for asking. We're called Main Chain, and the origin of that is when we were 13 or whatever. That's what we called each other. It was like synonymous with my main man, my best friend, Main Chain. What's up, Chaining? What's up, Maining? We were the Main Chain. So it's he and I, and sometimes we'll collaborate with a drummer or a guitarist or another keyboardist or somebody who can sequence or make drum beats or something. But we're kind of a lot like a lot of our influences were like Depeche Mode and groups like that. A lot of electronic based sounds. But we love making the music. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon. All of it's Main Chain, and you'll see a picture of me and Dan, my old buddy Dan. He's basically my brother. And we're literally working on something right now. I was working on it right before I jumped on. When you're like, "Hey, you want to jump on?" I'm like, I have to get this file out to my guy. So we're working on it. And it's going to accompany and be accompanied with a video. A lot of our music is all we love the medium. We love to create videos. We've been doing it since we were 12, and so it's something that we love to do. And whether we get paid or whether it's difficult or whether it's through sickness and health, we'll do it because it's what we love to do. And that's another thing I always try to tell people. It's like, well, I want to be a voice actor. How do I get to be it? It's like, wait, are you going to do it for free? Because you're going to do it for a long time for free until you are so good people will pay you above other people to do it. And it's not just going to be you doing somebody else's voice because they already have that voice. You're going to have to do you. Right. So that means you got to get past that barrier of it being real weird. Everybody looking at you. Do your thing. Bring the magic. Let's see the thunder. It's going to be a long time. So you want to make sure that you're doing it because you love it. And that's going to be what gets you through the deserts and through the dark waters and the deep nights and over the mountain ranges. It's going to be because you love to do this. And no matter what, you're going to get, after every time you get knocked down, after every no you get, you're going to get up and you're just going to persevere because you love it.
I love that. And man, I just love the positive vibes, bro. And also I'm going to make sure when I post this interview that I'm going to have your information down in the description. So that way people can go and listen to you guys.
Awesome.
And show love. Yeah, of course.
Thank
man.
you, brother.
Yeah. I'm going to subscribe too after this, man.
Awesome, man.
That's one of the cool things. You're welcome. That's one of the cool things that I love about interviewing people and finding out about their hobbies and their interests and like other things that they do, because it's like, I don't just want to support you and, the video games and stuff. I want to support you if you're an artist. Like if you draw stuff, if you make music, if you have a studio where you're trying to establish other up and coming prospects and music and whatnot. So yeah, of course, I'm going to include that down below.
Nice.
So now we are at the listener questions, and we got a couple. So are you ready to go?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so first up, this one comes from Natalie Struck, and they actually have two questions for you. The first one is, if you couldn't be a voice actor or actor, what other career would you be passionate about?
Oh, well, it would be music. If I could do that full time, I'd do it. Because the music was my ain true love. That was the thing one of my first memories was hearing a song and being like, what is this? What is this? So it would probably be that. But if I had to choose something where I was outside of the realm of entertainment or stuff like that, I always thought I would like to be, those, this guy, Kevin Richardson is his name. He's in South Africa. And he's like a lion sanctuary trainer.
Oh, wow.
He saves lions from when they're cubs. Mm-hmm. He's got a sanctuary to help them. And so he grows up with them as cubs. And so they come to revere him as the pride, as family. And same with, he does it with hyenas too. It's amazing. But he goes out there and he takes all these videos and he's out there with these lions. He's out with lions, and they come up and they rub their gigantic heads against him and they make these huge sounds because they're gigantic beasts.
Right.
And I'm like, that would be an awesome job. I would love to do that. I mean, I love cats. I love animals. Yeah. I love cats. There's something special about cats for me. I love cats. And they're like the ultimate big cat. and but and also they're in Pride. They like being together. So it would be that. I would just live out, out there, and help raise and save big cats. That would be awesome.
Nice. And it would be awesome and scary, not gonna lie. But it's like if you're raising them from when they're cubs to them being adults, then it's just like you have that bond, that connection with them. Yeah. But I don't know. I was just thinking about have you ever seen Anchorman?
Of course.
The second one where like he was raising the shark, and then
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't.
Does it go bad? One? No.
Okay, no spoilers. Right? No spoilers. No spoilers.
Is it still Will Ferrell?
Yes, it's still Will.
Okay, Ferrell. I'll see it. I loved the first one. I'll go watch it. The first one
was fun. Is the first one? It may be the second one when they're in the RV, or are they in the RV in the first one? I think it's the second one. So no spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers. Watch the second. It's good. A lot of people, they didn't like it. They liked the first one more. I like the first one too, but the second one was just as good.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm definitely seeing it then. It's such a hilarious movie.
So then their next question is, have you or would you consider doing an audiobook? And if so, what genre would you like to read?
Oh man, audiobooks. I've never done one. They're a lot. They're a lot of work. And I haven't done them probably because of that. There's so much work. I have a lot of friends that do them. Mm-hmm. And there's good practices. There's ways to do them better than others. But whichever way you spin it, they're a lot of work. You gotta really love them. You gotta really love to do them. They'll take up a big part of your day because there's so much. Every day you've got to get a significant chunk done. And the way I kind of structured and formed my voiceover career was more towards interactive, towards animation, towards commercial, promo, and performance and mocap. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted my days free for that. I didn't want to be because you got to really just sit there and read for hours every day. And I was like, it's not really me. I'm too like, but
energetic.
Yeah, I got to get out and I got to move and I got to be like, again, that's who I am. But if I had to do one, I think I might like to take a crack at those romantic novels and say Sally made her way back into the kitchen and she found herself that rolling pin that she left there. She brought it up and it gleamed in the light. I could see myself doing something like that.
I like that.
Not to make it too weird between us guys.
No. I was just like, nah. Hey, well,
he's going for it. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm pretty sure that Natalie is gonna appreciate that.
I know who Noodles. She's in our community. I know. Nat will know exactly what I mean by that. That's for you, Nat.
All right. So the next person is from Fate Skywalker, and they want to know, what comic elements do you hope / wish they'll incorporate into Bucky's lore in the Rival
2? I hope that they incorporate the Natasha Black Widow dynamic that they have. The MCU, the movies have really passed that over. It's a huge portion of both of them coming from Hydra and the Red Room and being trained by this Russian Soviet operative thing, and they're both having to escape, but then now they're both these badasses, but they're also troubled and they have to get over themselves and over their past in order to become who they are. And I would love to see them coming together to help each other along that journey. I think that's a huge part of it. Bucky has Steve Rogers,
right?
And that camaraderie, that friendship, helping each other through thick and thin. When one's up, the other's down. You help each other through, and that's what a friendship should be. I'd like to see something like that happen with Natasha, and of course, the added element of a romantic dynamic. I think would be really nice.
Yeah, and this also goes along because somebody else had a question too. and you pretty much just answered it. They wanted to know how you felt about Bucky and Black Widow's relationship, and how and the person is Brew Carew, and they mentioned that Mrs. Barnes' cowgirl outfit is in Rivals and whatnot, and so I mean you pretty much just answered it. But I also wanted to shout them out too because they had a similar question.
Yeah, it would be it's a huge part of they kind of, the MCU kind of took it a different direction. They kind of took it with Clint, and then kind of with the Hulk, and they did it for whatever reasons they did it. But the canon and the Brubaker and the kind of the original comic books, it was he and Natasha, and I think it would be cool to see that, and because I think that there is something, like I was describing with Steve Rogers, of friendship, camaraderie helps you get through things. I think there's also something about a relationship helping you get through things. And I really hope that they explore that.
So now this one comes from What Does the Flux Say? And they want to know, do you have a least favorite role?
My least favorite, well, okay. Wow, what is my least favorite role? I can think of my least favorite session. I had a rough session. But my least favorite character. Oh, okay. I play this character, Sleggar Law, who in the Gundam universe, and he's a real trashy character. I mean, some of the things he had to say in the anime, when we were recording, I was asking the director, I was like, am I reading this right? And she's like, yeah, that's what you say. And I'm like, am I right in thinking that he's saying basically this? And she's like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, this guy's a real sleazebag. So yeah, probably Sleggar Law is the guy. I mean, the guy I least identify with, and is also just kind of a schmarmy, schmutzy character.
Okay. All right, and this next one comes from Aren Petrova, and they want to know, what would childhood you think about adult you being a voice actor of such iconic characters?
Oh man, I think that the younger me would first go, wow, we're still alive? Good job. And then, because when I was a kid, I could not see the end of the week. I could not see past the weekend. There was no like, one day I'm going to be, it was just kind of survival. We grew up, I had 3 brothers, and it was always broken bones and stitches and chipped teeth, and like, it was always something. So I think besides just being impressed that we're still alive and still kicking, I think I would really be like, wow, good job. I didn't get stuck in some office somewhere, punching in numbers, doing something I absolutely hate, because I was not, like I mentioned, I'm not good at school. I did not do well. It was really difficult for me, that the way my brain is. It was just not that environment did not serve me well, and I probably would have feared that that would have to be my life. Mm-hmm. You have to sit here and then do long division, because that's what you have to do. Sit here and do data input, because somehow we found a way. Somehow we struggled for long enough. Somehow we got through the breakups and the heartache and all the twisted turns and side curves that life throws you. We survived long enough to get to the point where we could celebrate being in a couple of awesome things and have a community to share it with. That's been something that is also, I don't think I saw coming, from the streaming. We do, Daniel, Jordan, and I, we all do live streaming, and just fostering and cultivating a community that's so great. So great. Everyone's so positive. Everyone supports each other. I did not see that coming either. And that's something that really lifts me up too.
I love that, man. All right. And now this is the final question. And this comes from JJ. And he wants to know if you can say Winter Soldiers. I mean, you've been saying it the entire interview. So, I mean, he's going to, like, when he watches this interview, he's going to hear it throughout it. But he wants to know if you can say Armed and Dangerous. And
yeah, I'll give him a couple of these. I have been to him, sort of, but I'll give you a full one. I'll give you also the other iteration that we don't usually hear, just for your show. Stand down! Again!
Awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for asking questions and, for supporting the podcast, man. Like, I appreciate you guys, and I hope that you guys appreciate this episode. So with that being said, Eliah, we are at the end of the interview. Thank you so much for joining me up here. It was a blast talking with you, and I hope everybody listens and watches this episode and they enjoy it just as much as I did. So with that being said, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Just my name. It's my name. It's Eliah Mountjoy. On Twitch, it's Eliah_Mountjoy. But Google, it'll bring you all the same place. Eliah Mountjoy. My band is Main Chain. So if anybody wants to go check that out, thank you very much. Benji, you are just as cool as everyone says you are, man. And I've had such a great time. Thank you so much for having me on, dude. Anytime you want to run it back, let's go.
Hey, I really appreciate that, man. I appreciate your kind words, and it's stuff like that keeps me going. So thank you very much. And of course, I would love to have you back up here. And with that being said, everybody, you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at @KingBenji_Banks on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. That being said, stay positive. Keep that pinky up. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Pinky's up.